NHL opening week is served up by DQ, the home of fan food, not fast food. The BB&T Center, if you're scoring at home, that's the Branch Banking and Trust Center, the latest name attached to the building here in Sunrise. So the Devils scored 6 goals in their season opener. 5 different players had multi-point nights, and still there was quite a bit of buzz about the NHL debut of defenseman Damon Severson. Now, the Devils have always been all about the team. Lou Lamoriello has always been all about the team, and they don't like to highlight or single out players, especially young players. It was only 1 game, but we did ask Andy Green about playing with the precocious 20-year-old.
It's quite impressive what he's doing right now, and the key is from to continue to do it, and that's it's about being a young guy, trying to find that consistency, and he's been great, and just got to keep playing well.
Why the coaches put you two together?
I don't know. I think we fit well together. I like to play not a safe game, but I like to play the odds there and not try to put each other in bad situations and bad situations, and just try to teach them little things here and there about games, about different players on each team, and some of the little things that they try to do.
Florida has played a game. They lost in overtime, a tough one against the Lightning. Eric Goodbranson, with his first of the year, he scored the Panthers' first goal of the season, but then Tampa Bay tied it. Young Tyler Johnson, 2 minutes and 9 seconds later, tied it at 1. The Devils, don't forget, will see Tampa next. It's back-to-back games in the Sunshine State. To the third period, Ryan Callahan, the former Ranger, traded at the deadline last year, and it's a Victor Hedman assist that gives Tampa the 2-1 lead, and then Jonathan Huberdeau, one of the very impressive young Florida players, ties it at 2. But a tough call on Florida's Scotty Upshall at the buzzer of regulation at 20 minutes called for goaltender interference. And remember, we talked about these games ending in overtime. Victor Hedman got free on a breakaway because it was a 4-on-3 because of the penalty to Upshall and because of the long change. So we'll look for that the first time the Devils go to overtime. But that Florida Panther Tampa Bay Lightning game, certainly an example of why fewer games may get to a shootout this season as they adjusted some of the rules for overtime. So the Panthers are looking for their first win. The Devils are looking for their second. Let's go to Steve.
Thank you, Deb. A terrific crowd on hand here tonight at the BB&T Center. Prior to this week, Corey Schneider can remember one other period of time he had the rhythm of a #1 goaltender in the National Hockey League. It was in the home stretch of actually the final season in Vancouver. Head coach Alain Vigneault at the time started him in 15 of the Canucks' final 18 games. 2 months later, the Devils acquired his rights on draft night, and at the time, no one could have believed that man, his good friend Roberto Luongo, would be an Eastern Conference goaltender as well. They met 3 times last season. Roberto Luongo won all 3. For Corey Schneider, this is a little personal tonight, isn't it?
I would think so. He wants to beat one of his mentors and former teammate, and yes, they were close friends, worked well together, Kanji, despite the precarious situation they had there in Vancouver. But Corey Schneider, nonetheless, just wants to get #2, and I don't think he plans on giving up 4 goals like he did in Game 1.
Devils start out with the Patrick Elias line. That means Dainis Zubras on the right, Martin Havlat on the left wing, and we're underway. The Panthers' home opener tonight here in Sunrise, and the loose puck gobbled up early by New Jersey. Dainis Zubras looks to control along the near boards for the Devils and take it away here. Marek Zidlitsky plays it across. The soft shot from Bryce Salvador is wide of Luongo's cage. Good start for the Devils against the top line that's on here for the Panthers. That means former Calder Trophy winner Jonathan Huberdeau, Alexander Barkov, and Jussi Jokinen. Steered into the Devils zone by Huberdeau and deflected out of play.
There's Coach DeBoer on the New Jersey Devil bench, Steve, and he's learned a lot. We've talked so much about it over the years, and he had some tough times here in Florida, even though they had a pretty darn good record as coach of the Florida Panthers. But you heard there was some controversy and some players not real happy with the way Coach DeBoer handled them. And Pete has mentioned many times that he learned along the way. He was a young coach as well, just like a player, and he's adjusted accordingly.
This is a more veteran group that he's coached with the New Jersey Devils. in that same allotment of time. 2-on-1 develops here for the Panthers, and the return pass for Brad Boyes just a bit too far, and subsequently he fires it off the side of goal. In transition come the Devils. Mike Camilleri off his big night sends this into the Florida zone. Loose puck gobbled up here by the Panthers, and Dmitry Kulikov takes this, number 7. Florida feels it's in position for a much improved season after posting the second worst record in the National Hockey League a year ago. 66 points, only Buffalo with fewer. Dangerous pass right in front of goal is steered away by New Jersey. That's Eric Jelena who put it through the crease. Looking at this lineup this morning, Steve, I go, wow, this is a lot better team, deeper team than we've seen in the past from the Florida Panthers. Shot by Dylan Olsen is saved by Corey Schneider, his first test of the night. They've added some key veterans to go along with all that young talent they have. Barkov, Huberdeau, and Nick Bjugstad, who they're going to count on heavily as the future goes here. Bjugstad was the team's leading scorer last season. Dano, he had that title with just 38 points. It's the lowest ever for a team's leading scorer in any 82-game NHL season. As we see the redirection here in front, Michael Ryder got it on goal, and Roberto Luongo made the save. Andy Green back in his own zone. It's icing against the Panthers. You mentioned Pete DeBoer and his time in Florida. Gerard Gallant was named the 13th head coach in Panthers history. No Florida coach has lasted longer than the 3 seasons that DeBoer was here between 2009 and 2012. This is a hot seat. The Panthers' last 10 coaches have averaged a year and a half on the job. He feels he's up to the task. He says he wants to coach in the mold of his former head coach. You remember him well, Jacques Demers, back with the Red Wings back in the late 1980s. Kind of coach who just lets the players' instincts take over. He says the X's and O's are for the assistants. Shot by Jelena, he scores! Eric Jelena, the wrist shot got through, and the Devils are on the board first. Great start for the New Jersey Devils. Eric Jelena with that wicked wrist shot. This time he doesn't wind up, Steve. We know he can let it go via the slap shot as well, but just a quick wrister, and I think this came upon Roberto Luongo awfully quick, and he didn't really pick it up with 2 guys in front. Gianti, you see, screening the goaltender there, and real good start for the New Jersey Devils, and that's what Eric Jelena can bring you. That quick, hard wrist shot where goaltenders aren't quite set. You expect more shots to get through. The Jelena shot gets through there. We talked about the difference in the hash marks here and just how plays develop when there's more separation in the circle, Kenny. Well, I would think if you win draws cleanly, no question that these defensemen will get more shots through, and it's going to pay dividends for the goal-scoring production. We saw that there with Jelena and some Devils going hard to net. I think some of the Panther defensemen also screened Roberto Luongo on that one, but nonetheless, the Devils take the 1-0 lead. Here's Huberdeau now looking for the answer. Centering try in front. Comes all the way to the stick of Martin Havlat, who's back the other way for New Jersey. His second game as a Devil. Kulikov left the puck behind him. Puck loose in the Florida zone, and Elias puts it right back into the corner. Brad Boyes, second year with the Florida Panthers, and a former 40-goal scorer with the St. Louis Blues. Goes into the Devils' end, and it's taken here by New Jersey. Devils with the same lineup that produced the opening night 6-4 win at Philadelphia. Travis Zajac steps on and gives here to Jaromir Jagr. Bumped by Scotty Upshall, went for the takeaway, and the Devils chop it out to center. Great stick by Jaromir Jagr there after he lost the puck. Looked like the Panthers were going to have an outnumbered situation. He used that long reach to poke it outside the blue line. Camilleri sends back in. Goal by Eric Jelena, giving the assist to John Merrill, and Jordan Tootoo, his first point as a New Jersey Devil. Good for Jordan Tootoo getting involved in that goal. You always want to contribute to your team when you just come aboard. And Jordan Tootoo in the 4th line did just that on the Jelena goal. Talk about that more as we go along, what the Devils expect out of that 4th line and whether it can serve to complement scoring in any substantial fashion. Taken here by Salvador. Punched out to center. Zidlitsky able to get that puck away from Sean Thornton, the longtime Bruin, now at the Florida Panthers. Fired into the zone by Brian Campbell. Taken here by Florida. Sharp angle try is stopped by Schneider. Campbell again trying to get this through. Centering try taken away by Marek Zyglitsky instead.
Sean Thornton was brought on board by general manager Dale Talon of the Florida Panthers for his leadership. He's not just a tough guy. He developed into probably one of the best fourth-line players in the National Hockey League and very instrumental in the Boston Bruins Stanley Cup Championship in 2011.
Big hit by Tuomo Ruutu. He had 5 hits in the opener at Philadelphia to lead the team. And Captain Willie Mitchell for Florida sends this into the New Jersey end, and Jelena is back to take this. He's hit by Derek McKenzie. Free agent acquisition from Columbus for the Panthers. 2-2. Hammers Upshaw. Gionta sends it in deep. Jelena keeps the puck moving. Steven Gionta deep in the zone. Now 2-2 joins the fray. He's knocked down on the play by McKenzie, and it's lifted away by Upshaw and the Panthers.
Good work by the fourth line here.
Ruutu drops it back. Jelena again, the wrist shot, this time steered aside by Roberto Luongo. Taken by New Jersey. The centering try by Zubas comes back to the point. Andy Green with a try. Stopped by Luongo, and the rebound try wouldn't go.
What a glorious opportunity for Andy Green right in the slot, point blank. Big stop by Roberto Luongo to keep this game 1-0.
Barkov able to take this away from Elias and skated away here by Olsen, the 23-year-old defenseman. This is by and large a young Florida Panthers team loaded with first-round picks that they've collected in recent years. Whether that talent comes together for something special remains to be seen as Corey Schneider steers this into the netting and will step aside. The Jelena goal, the difference early, the Devils have the 1-0 advantage.
That man, Ryan Clough, played just over 15 minutes in the opener in Philadelphia, had an assist, +1 rating, Steve, and played a real effective game along with line mates Adam Henrique and Michael Ryder in game 1. And for me, Ryan Clough is such an important part of this hockey club. His leadership, his presence, and he's a pretty darn good hockey player with a real nice set of hands for a big man, but he brings that moxie to this team and physicalness that they don't have a lot of.
Played back by the Devils and John Merrill. Winds this around the boards. Jágr will give chase on the far side, but giving away the puck to the stick of Brian Campbell as the Panthers look to break out. Nick Bjugstad fires in, 22-year-old center. A gifted playmaker for the Panthers. Now back the other way. Jágr going for the takeaway on 18-year-old Aaron Ekblad, the #1 overall pick in the draft, who made the Florida Panthers opening night roster and figures to stick around some. Taken away by New Jersey. Looking to play it back to Merrill. At the point was Camilleri, hammering from the opposite point Salvador, but that shot blocked. And this puck lifted out of play. Let's see if it deflected. Face-off will stay in the Panthers zone.
Yeah, it looks like it did. The Devils are looking for a penalty here, and the referees are discussing it.
Brian Pochmar, Kevin Pollock, the refs in charge tonight.
Take a look right here, and the puck is flipped out, and it's tough to see, Kanji, if that, in fact, hit a stick, hit the top of the glass. I think that was Nick Bjugstad who flipped it over the glass, and now the referees get together again and decide whether this, in fact, is a delay of game or not.
Darren Gibbs, the linesman 66, joining the conversation. Okay, boys, who had the best look, and what will the call be? Door to the Panthers box is open. Let's see if that's the direction we're going in.
Very difficult for us to see even on the replay here. Okay, now we got a little better angle here, and that puck does not hit anything and is definitely shot over the glass. And that is going to be a delay of game penalty. The Devils will go on the power play.
Bjugstad comes off the bench. He'll serve it. Devil power play that was 0 for 3 in Philadelphia will look to connect for the first time here tonight. This is an area of the game Florida needs to improve in desperately. They were scored on 3 times on Thursday under Gerard Gallant. Last season, the 30th ranked penalty kill in the National Hockey League.
It's a momentum killer. If you can kill a penalty, it can really lift your team. But if you go down 2-0 here, and Florida really wants to improve that this season, no doubt about it.
The Henrique line gets the first shot on the power play. Andy Green, Marek Zidlitsky at the point for New Jersey as it's played down low. Zidlitsky dishes off and gives here to Klo. Ryan Klo holds, plays down low. Punch back to the point. Zidlitsky covering there and dishes back for Ryan Klo. Devils set up. Shot through the screen. Saved by Luongo and hammered away and clear.
Luongo had to be sharp there. A real quick shot by Ryan Klo. Get pucks in that. That's something the Devils are focusing on more this season. They talked a lot about it in training camp. And Luongo makes a big save off Ryan Klo with a couple of Devils bearing down.
Here's Klo gaining the zone once again. Ryder covering the point, and now played back here to Zidlitsky. He fires, saved by Luongo. Rebound sitting there, trying to follow up Andy Green. Checked off the puck by Dylan Olsen. Now Green hanging tough. 3 Devils in deep in the zone. Work back to the point, Zidlitsky. Able to hold, he fires. Redirected, and this time Luongo will hold on.
Real good puck movement by the New Jersey Devils on this power play. Couple of good scoring opportunities. Luongo had to be sharp, but you have to be impressed the way the Devils are communicating, the way Andy Green, the defensemen, are jumping in, getting opportunities, looking for rebounds in the high slot. And they still got 54 seconds left trying to carry over what they've done this first minute without scoring, but the only thing left is to put one past Luongo, who's looked good here.
Patrick Elias took the draw and won it back. Another shot, they score! Once again, Jelena from the point. It was redirected in front. The Devils take a 2-0 advantage.
Well, just as I mentioned it, Steve, the Devils did everything but score the first minute of that power play, and right off the face-off, great draw. Back to the point. Patrick Elias wins that clean on his forehand, and Eric Jelena with that quick wrister, no big windup. He wants to get it through. He's got his head up, and I believe Mike Camilleri might have got a piece of that. Bangs off the post and just trickles by the goal line. Or that looks like it's Marty Havlat in front there. I thought Camilleri might have got it also, but it looks like it's Marty Havlat's first goal as a New Jersey Devil. And they take the lead 2-0.
The reaction from Havlat signals that certainly it went off a stick in front. Kulikov was there, but if it's Havlat, milestone moment for him. And a crisp start for New Jersey as they gain the zone again. Here's Havlat, checked off the puck this time. Now waiting for it. Merrill had the shot, but dished instead in the corner in the direction of Dyna Subras.
This is what a young Florida Panther team is going to go through. They're helter-skelter in their own end. Obviously, it was a power play and they're a man down, but the Devils continue to press the Panthers in their own end. They've made mistakes, turned pucks over.
Boy, what you want as well. Again, great crowd. This is a 19,000-seat arena. Not every seat is filled, but it's sure close to that. And they take the crowd out of the game early here. On a big night, the Panthers' home opener as it's worked away to center.
Sometimes your first game, you just want to play a simple game, move the puck, get it up ice, and the Panthers seem to be stuck a little bit, hesitating on their decision-making with the puck or going to a man.
Lone assist on the Jelena second goal. Now that's what they're officially doing now. They're giving Jelena the second goal. We expect that to change as we move along, but right now it's being scored Jelena from Elias.
That's what the big fella Eric Jelena brings. He's got a goal and assist so far. I know they said it was his second goal, but I believe Marty Havlat did get a piece of that. I agree with you there, Steve. But Eric Jelena, that quick wrist shot, he gets it through, and it is heavy. It's not one of those just to get it through. He really brings some velocity with that wrist shot as well.
Puck hammered in towards the Panther zone by Steven Gionta and picked up here by Willie Mitchell. Stanley Cup champion in 2 of the past 3 years, Mitchell, the former Devil with the Los Angeles Kings. As Salvador is hammered deep in the zone. Florida now looking for a response down 2 as Jordan Tutu tries to skate it away. Sean Bergenheim quickly on Salvador, and the loose puck taken here by Florida.
And you mentioned Willie Mitchell, former teammate of mine. And in fact, I was his first defense partner for a little while here in New Jersey. And you got to really respect what he's accomplished. He's worked for everything. 199th pick overall. What a career he's had. 2 Stanley Cup championships added to his resume. He just has been a real good solid defenseman in this league, and that's why the Panthers added him for his veteran experience, leadership, and the guy knows how to win.
Wearing the captaincy for the first time in his career at the age of 37, taken here by Merrill and played across. A 2-point night for Jelena, and Merrill sees this hammered back in the New Jersey end. Barkov quickly on his tail, and Merrill is able to guide it out of the zone. Played back by Jussi Jokinen. Here's Brian Campbell, veteran playmaking defenseman. Barkov steers it into the Devils zone. Andy Green looking to play the puck now. Barkov gives it up at the circle. They dish it back to the point. Here's Campbell, redirected try. Oh, Schneider leaning the wrong way. And now a penalty's coming up. It's against New Jersey, and it's a hold.
It looks like a hold or an interference call, I think, Steve. We're going to take a look at Eric Jelena's quick wrist shot, and in fact, it's definitely redirected by Marty Havlat for his first goal as a New Jersey Devil. Terrific tip in front as he's battling a Florida Panther defenseman. Real nice job by Marty Havlat. And here we're going to see Jonathan Huberdeau just interfere with goaltender Corey Schneider, putting the Devils back on the power play with a 2-0 lead.
Havlat has been consistent, a 6-time 20-goal scorer in his career. Career best was 2003-2004, a 31-goal season with the Ottawa Senators that year. Camilleri on the puck here. 7.5 to go in the opening period. A good one so far for the Devils, beginning this season on a 4-game road trip, tied for the second longest road trip that they've ever began a year with. Zajac taken here, and Jagr plays this down low. Gets it back from Camilleri, and New Jersey sets up again. Devils power play here, and picked up here by Camilleri. Jagr works it across and defended away as Marek Zidlitsky plays it back for Jagr. Here's Jaromir Jagr, fakes one shot and plays to the circle. Zajac guides it back to the point. Severson plays it across. They score! Marek Zidlitsky fires a bullet, and it's a 3-0 Devils lead. The power play a perfect 2 for 2 tonight.
Everything going the New Jersey Devils' way right now. The power play has been moving the puck incredibly well. Steve, seems like they really have some good chemistry going in the Florida Panther end. The Panthers cannot seem to get the puck and get an opportunity to even clear it down the ice. And there's a little fake pass over to Marek Zidlitsky, and he buries it. I'm not sure if anybody got a tip. Nice little pass right in the wheelhouse from Damon Severson. He's going to pick up his first assist of his National Hockey League career. Everything going the Devils' way through 13.5 minutes here.
The 3-0 advantage in Philadelphia happened roughly 5.5 into the second period. Here's an odd man rush for the Panthers. Upshaw, the pass too hot to handle for the veteran left wing on Florida. And punched out of the zone by Adam Henrique on the second try on the follow. Andy Green tracks this down for New Jersey and works it across. Bryce Salvador the outlet pass, and Michael Ryder will dump into the Florida end. Jussi Jokinen can't control. Here's Havlat following up for New Jersey again.
Coach Gallant cannot be happy with the way the Panthers are passing the puck. And then you saw there, Gudbranson put it right on the stick, and they're just tight right now, deflected off of their centerman, Barkov. And that's the way it's gone for the Panthers thus far. They have to regroup here because they are certainly not looking the way they would like to in their home opener.
Here's Ekblad back and works it behind the goal for Brian Campbell. Partnering with the 35-year-old. Worked here behind the net. Centering try. Elias tried to guide it back to Merrill on a last-ditch effort there, and now John Merrill will fire back in. Roberto Luongo beaten 3 times in the opening 15 minutes tonight and taken here by Severson for New Jersey. Andy Green hammers it as far as center, and Ekblad will fire in.
Devils really have to focus on not so much the score, Steve, being up 3, nothing, and it doesn't mean you sit back, but make sure you don't get odd man situations, outnumbered situations. And I'm sure that's something they talked about against the Flyers when they had a 3-0 lead and everything unraveled for a little while. So play the game safe right now. Doesn't mean you don't continue to press, but you just keep everything to the outside.
Jordan Tootoo caught offside. 3-0 New Jersey with 4:44 to go in the first.
If Corey Schneider suffered from a lack of run support last season, that hasn't been the case. The first 2 games, he's already got another 3-0 lead. We'll go one-on-one with Corey Schneider coming up in the first intermission. Plus, Marty Havlat will have an interview with him right outside the Devils locker room as he gets his first goal as a Devil, guys.
Thank you, Deb, and we'll do the house cleaning issues now. Yes, they've made the change officially. Havlat now from Elias and Jelena. And then the third goal by New Jersey, Zidlitsky on the power play. Severson, his first National Hockey League point. Travis Zajac got the second assist at 13-13.
You always want to get that first point out of the way, especially with an offensive player like Severson. That Severson was in juniors in the WHL in Kelowna.
He says the phone lit up when he got back to the locker room following the victory on Thursday. It's another penalty coming up. This time it's against New Jersey and played back. On the delayed call, we get the whistle. It's Tootoo who takes a minor for the second consecutive game.
Yeah, looks like Jordan Tootoo going to the penalty box here, and you knew eventually the Devils were going to get one. And there you see Sean Thornton, the tough guy who came over from the Boston Bruins, trying to get the Panthers going here with anything, getting a little life. And I'm not so sure why just Jordan Tootoo got that call there. It seemed the two of them, the two tough guys, were battling each other. But the Panthers go on the power play. Big time of the game for New Jersey to kill this one.
Brian Campbell works it across. Shot by Kulikov. Fired off the backboard, and Andy Green will send this the length of the ice.
Ever so close. Looks like just went wide, but Corey had that big right pad down there.
Huberdeau, Barkov, Jokinen, the top line for the Panthers on first wave power play. And it's Jussi Jokinen, 10th National Hockey League season, the last 2 with Pittsburgh, who fires in. Salvador deep in his own end. Feathers it to the near boards, and Huberdeau battling, taken back at the point by Campbell. He dishes off, and Jokinen here winds and fires, blocked away off the leg of Green. To the far side. Kulikov pinching in, trying to keep the attack alive. Barkov takes, halts behind the Devils' net. Alexander Barkov now work back. Kulikov reverses course with it. Redirected in front. Corey Schneider with the save on the redirect from Barkov.
Barkov's got some slick hands. You saw him behind the net make a real good pass to an open Panther. Then again, he gets in the high slot and redirects this puck on the shot from Kulikov, and Corey Schneider, such a sound technical goaltender, makes it look easy here. Good job of the Devils at penalty kill. Andy Green with a big block. Have ways to go here, but something they want to improve on. It wasn't real successful against the Flyers.
Allowed 2 power play goals against Philadelphia. Boyes tries to guide this back to the point. Brad Boyes collects once again. Bunches up with Goodbranson, and Adam Henrique on the near boards, able to muscle this back into the Florida zone. Under 40 seconds to go on the Panther power play. Here's Ekblad on the move. Second National Hockey League game for the rookie from Windsor, Ontario. Now Merrill to Henrique, and he sends the length of the ice. He and Elias head for the bench on the short shift.
Real nice support by 3 Devils in the corner there, and John Merrill easily gets the puck to Adam Henrique, who has time to clear.
Zajac and Camilleri on to continue the kill for the Devils. Salvador tries to send it out of the zone, and Camilleri will send it the length of the ice. In Florida, not much as the power play comes to an end. Effective kill by New Jersey.
Real good job by everybody involved on the penalty kill for the New Jersey Devils.
Kulikov, checked by Merrill. Zidlitsky behind his own net, lost control of the puck, and gobbled up here by Dina Zubris, who's off to the races. Gives to Zajac, return feed. Zubris sent one in front for the cutting Camilleri. Here's Merrill following up and punches it in deep. Final 2 minutes of the opening period. Gabe Boland, former Stanley Cup hero of the Blackhawks, works this ahead. Now Bergenheim across to Upshaw. John Bergenheim lost control and worked away by Zajac and New Jersey.
And the Florida Panthers really out of sync. Just seems every time they pass it, it's in the skates, it's bouncing. Really unraveling here so far in this first period.
Played back to Campbell. Brian Campbell shoots off the pipe. On the near post, he fired it. And Corey Schneider and the Devils catch their first break tonight.
Yeah, he'll take it. Anytime you can get a post, the goaltender will say he was in good position. But just as I spoke, the Panthers unraveling, get a great opportunity.
Tomas Kopetsky dumps in, and Corey Schneider will cover this up. 1:03 to go in the opening period. Devils are out shooting Florida 10-9.
And here's Brian Campbell. He's piled up an awful lot of points throughout his career in the National Hockey League, and he blasts this one. You see John Merrill in front, and that one dings off the post. I don't think Corey Schneider picked that up with two guys in front screening him there.
Brian Campbell, 356 assists as a defenseman in his career coming into the season for Florida. He will anchor the back line and be one of the leaders on, again, a very young Florida team. They feel it's talent that will come to the surface eventually in what is a critical time for the Panthers organization. This is their 21st year in Sunrise, Florida. Ownership says they're here now to stay. Vinny Viola, who took over recently as the owner. They have Gerard Gallant, the 50-year-old, now at the helm as a head coach. And it's great to make a commitment to this area in the Southeast United States, but winning is the best formula to keep that promise, and it's something Florida hasn't done consistently. The shot from the circle is blocked away in front. Now Severson with a drive, and that's fired away wide. Damon Severson again. Wrist shot, he scores! Damon Severson, and if it wasn't tipped in front, that's his first National Hockey League goal.
What a first period in his second game. If in fact that is Severson's goal, Steve. Quick wrister again. Love the way these young defensemen gel. Now Severson not taking the big windup, getting a lot of velocity on those wrist shots. And the Devils doing a great job screening Roberto Luongo as they score their fourth goal here. And that's a giveaway by the Florida Panther defenseman. That has to be cleared. And yes, that looks like it may have went off of Brian Campbell. In fact, the Florida defenseman, a redirect just a little bit. Might have got a little piece of his arm. And you saw the frustration on Luongo's face. And now we got a scrap.
Sean Thornton and Bryce Salvador. And Bryce handles himself well.
Well, good for Bryce Salvador, because Sean Thornton is one of the toughest customers in the National Hockey League. And Bryce uses strength there to wrestle him down, and I don't blame him, because you don't want to be going toe-to-toe with Sean Thornton. And Bryce can't handle himself, but you knew they're going to try to change something here. And Sean Thornton wanted to get this thing going. There you go, and you see Bryce. Good for him. Good for him, Sean. The Devils are going to stick up to any belligerents if, in fact, the Florida Panthers want to change what's going on here. And I don't blame the Panthers as well, Steve. That's part of it. Once in a while, you have to do something to spark your team. Bryce Salvador answered the bell there.
Damon Severson left the game in Philadelphia with the last puck that was on the ice. Tonight he'll leave with another, with first NHL goal taped to it. Final seconds of period one. Corey Schneider has been in net for 4 periods. The Devils have given him 10 goals of support in that time. They lead 4-0 after 1 in Sunrise. We're back in Florida in a moment. First period highlights chock full of good stuff for the Devils, Ken Danico.
And Eric Chelina gets the onslaught started early in this hockey game with the quick wrist shot on a nice feed from John Merrill. Again, Chelina, I love the way he moved to the middle on a great face-off win by Patrick Elias, and Marty Havlat with the redirection in front for his first goal as a New Jersey Devil. And then Marek Zidlicky with the bomb. We've seen that from last season. They give the Devils a 3-0 lead. You see Corey Schneider make a nice save there on the redirection by Barkov in front. And Damon Severson again, just with the quick wrist shot, gets it through. It finds its way unassisted for the fourth Devils goal, and his first goal of his National Hockey League career. He has to feel awfully good.
Dennis Potvin, Hockey Hall of Famer, is back in the broadcast booth with the Florida Panthers this year. You spoke with him between periods, and as it relates to the Devils, he had some interesting thoughts.
He really did. I mean, Dennis Potvin, the great Islander and Hall of Famer, said to me, he goes, where did these young defensemen learn to get their shots off so quickly and get it through? He says somebody's got to be teaching them. He's been very impressed, and nobody wristed the puck better than Dennis Potvin did in his career. That's where he got a lot of his points, and he was an amazing defenseman. Over 1,000 points in the National Hockey League. A lot of it via the wrist shot, and he's been very impressed, he said, through 20 minutes with these young defensemen. I told him, yeah, I'm sure this has been an emphasis in the New Jersey Devils camp, because they wanted to get more deflections, they wanted more traffic in front. They've got more skill to do that with Camilleri. We saw last game against the Flyers, Marty Havlat, but just the fact that these guys can really bring it. They don't have to take the big windup, and both Severson and Eric Jelena showed you that in the first period. And I told them they just got a lot of savvy, a lot of composure when they're shooting the puck.
There was a scrum at the end of the first period as we went to commercial break, and in that scrum, Tuomo Ruutu picked up a 2-minute penalty for roughing. The Devils begin period 2 shorthanded. But the story thus far is the number 10 goals in 4 periods of play. Last year, New Jersey averaged 2.4 goals per game. 27th in the NHL, ranked Pete DeBoer's team. Dano, they're averaging 2.5 goals a period.
Well, it's only 4 periods. That's the important point that you made, Steve, but they have to be awfully happy the way it's gone from an offensive standpoint. Big kill the start of this second period. They want to keep things going their way and keep the Panthers back on their heels.
Elias and Henrique start the penalty kill for New Jersey. The Panthers have to plot this bit by bit to get back in the game as Elias nurses this back. Andy Green taken away by Youngkin, and he shoots. He fired wide. Played back, Kulikov. The pass too hot to handle, and all the way down the ice. Roberto Luongo remains in the Florida net.
Rare giveaway by the steady Andy Green. I think that puck was bouncing on him and unable to get it by Barkov. Real good play by him to knock that puck down and get a glorious opportunity right on top of Corey Schneider, but he shot wide.
Here's Campbell on the move for Florida, and Jokinen lost control and now opts to just whisk it into the Devils' end. John Merrill on the penalty kill, banks it off the near boards and plays it away.
So important when you get that puck on your stick in the defensive end, especially on the penalty kill, to get that clear, because if you don't get it out and you make a mistake, most good teams make you pay.
Bjugstad over the line. He's hit by Green. Bjugstad went flying. Panthers trying to hold the zone, and taken here by Boys, who sends into the corner. Here's Nick Bjugstad. Takes behind the Devils' net. Boys back to the point. Ekblad with a shot, and that's blocked away. Dinas Zubris filling the lane there. Played across, and the fired shot by Tomas Fleischmann is fired wide. Picked up here by Bjugstad, who's got this, and worked back to the point. Goodbranson gives here to Ekblad. Eric Goodbranson shoots, and a save by Corey Schneider.
Good reaction there by Corey Schneider on the Goodbranson blast. Just caught where it was going the last second and makes a good right pad save.
10 Florida shots. Schneider has gotten them all. Ekblad will send it in, and penalty time is up. Out of the box is Ruutu, and the recipient of the Zajac pass.
Devils again, pretty good job on the penalty kill, although they did turn one puck over, and Corey Schneider had to be sharp on a breakaway, forcing Barkov to shoot wide.
Here's Boland, who winds it around the boards on a Florida 3-on-2. Puck taken away here by John Merrill, and his outlet to Jaromir Jagr. You're just joining us, 4 Devils goals in period 1. First 2 points of the season for defensemen Eric Jelena and Damon Severson. Fired by Camilleri, saved by Luongo. Can't follow up and glove it. Taken here by Zajac instead. Camilleri back to the point. Big drive is saved by Roberto Luongo.
And we get a scrum in front of Luongo there with big Jaromir Jagr standing in front. And again, Damon Severson getting that shot through, just wasting no time. All the Devils defensemen are. And there we take a look at young defenseman Erik Gudbranson. You forget that he's only 22 years old. This is his 4th year in the National Hockey League, 3rd overall pick 4 seasons ago. And I had a good chat with him, Steve, this morning in the Florida Panther dressing room. Real old school guy, character guy, loves to talk hockey. In fact, he reminded me of somebody I know, and that was a young Kenny Danico. Really enjoyed talking to him. And he's been a work in progress, but I think he's got a bright future. Thought he was one of the best Panther defensemen.
Ryder centering try. They score in front. Michael Ryder with the setup. Ryan Clough with the finish in front. It is 5-0 New Jersey.
Well, I apologize, Kanji, because I just can't believe that this scoring onslaught in the last 2 games for this Devils hockey club, and it all starts on the forecheck. Devils win a battle. 2 guys on the puck, Henrique and Ryder, and he makes a beautiful pass through 3 Florida Panthers who are just standing looking around, but it goes right on the stick of Ryan Clough, and he gets involved in the scoring. Beautiful shot. This line played extremely well in Philadelphia, and they get their first goal of the evening to make it 5-0 New Jersey, and we're going to see a goaltender change.
El Cubano Al Montoya comes in to take the place of a 4-time All-Star and 2-time Olympic gold medal winner in Roberto Luongo. One of the big storylines in Florida is that man having something of a rebirth at the age of 35, and it was anything but for him tonight, as Montoya comes on to take his place, signed as a free agent back on the 1st of July. Former #1 pick of the New York Rangers. It is all Devils here. Close pass for Ryder. Work back to the point, and Green with a shot, and he fires it wide. Ryder again from the circle. Works it back to Green. Space to move in and shoot. Glove save, Montoya.
Boy, the Devils look awfully good right now, putting on all kinds of pressure in the Florida Panther end. And here's the goal again. Michael Ryder with the nifty backhand pass. Steps by 1 Florida Panther. Good work in the corner along with the help from Adam Henrique. Look at Ryan Clough. Stick on the ice. There's 3 Panthers there. It looks like there's no way he's going to be able to get a shot off. But because he kept his stick on the ice and he muscles that one past Roberto Luongo, didn't get a lot on it, but was able to get that toward the net and put that one home.
We all do this, those of us who cover the game. We tend to label lines 1, 2, and 3. And most times when you look at a chart of the New Jersey Devils, you see Henrique, Ryder, and Clough listed as a 3rd line of sorts, but that doesn't necessarily mean there's less production from that line than there will be from the others, as Schneider makes a stick save and it's steered away. It includes 2 savvy veterans and the man who led the Devils in goals scored last year in Henrique.
Yeah, I don't think you'd really put a 3rd line label on them, and the Devils don't want it any other way. They need contributions from everybody, and they've mentioned that from the opening day of training camp. It's going to be a team effort if we're going to score more goals, and so far that's what we've seen.
Here's Barkov trying to get his team on the board. That shot is blocked away. Andy Green filled the lane. Merrill knocked down by Jonathan Huberdeau. Elias helps out along the near boards. Shot taken there. That's Boyes firing towards the net. It wouldn't go, and it's chipped out of the zone by Green. This will go for an icing call against the Devils, 4.5 in. Tonight's upcoming schedule is brought to you by Lexus. The road trip continues. We're live in Tampa on MSG Plus Tuesday night. It concludes Thursday in Washington on MSG Plus 2, and then the home opener, the joint jumping Saturday night at Prudential Center against the San Jose Sharks, who looked awfully good in their opener.
They did, and they were hungry. They wanted to beat the Los Angeles Kings after the collapse last year in the playoffs, up 3-0 and losing that series.
Off the draw taken by New Jersey. The goal by Clough is assisted by Ryder and Henrique at the 2:59 mark of this 2nd period.
They just showed professional golfer on the big screen, Keegan Bradley. You might have to get some tips from him along the way here.
Hooking penalty is assessed here 5 minutes in, and let's see who they fingered as the guilty party.
Looks like Thomas Fleischman. And that's a bad penalty to take. In the offensive zone to get a hooking penalty. The Florida Panthers really are struggling to find their game in their home opener here. You know, Steve, we talked about Eric Gudbranson, and he's a kid that, like I said 3 years ago when the Devils beat them in that tough series, was one of their best defensemen.
Off the draw, saved by Montoya as the shot is fired away by Severson, who is enjoying the second experience as an NHL player tonight.
He's going to have to ice his arms after this game because he's finding himself with an awful lot of time, and he's getting a lot of shots through, lots on goal against these goaltenders. Luongo first, and now Al Montoya, who replaced Roberto Luongo after the 5th goal for the Devils.
Ice has been tilted all throughout the game tonight in favor of New Jersey, but Severson playing all these situations as Yager's shot is saved by Montoya once again, and giving this crowd on opening night in Florida a little something to cheer. It has not gone their way.
Montoya stepped in a difficult situation, and early on anyway, he's looked real sharp, leaving no rebounds, gobbling those pucks up by the Devils. It seemed Roberto Luongo was having a tough time picking pucks up, although he didn't have a whole lot of help from his defenseman in front.
Off the draw, Severson plays it across, and here's Zidlitsky. And cleared away by the Panthers. Minute and a half to go in the Devils' power play, which clipped twice in the opening period. Power play goals by Martin Havlat and Zidlitsky. Montoya behind his net. Hammered out of the zone, and now the foot race. Zidlitsky will get back and deny Scotty Upshaw. Gudbranson on the kill, lets a shot go, which Schneider steers aside with ease. We'll watch Adam Henrique on the power play for New Jersey.
Just saw Damon Severson make a little nifty little 5-foot pass to Henrique. What a play on his backhand, showing a lot of poise for a youngster.
Jelena dishes off. Now the Devils set up. Here's Jelena. Wrist shot again, and again, it's Montoya who holds on.
It's a shooting gallery right now for these New Jersey Devils. This time again, one of the goal scorers, Eric Jelena. And these two young kids have been terrific tonight, both him and Severson. And again, you see that, Steve? Head up, no big windup, get the puck to the net, get it through, and some Devils trying to deflect that one.
I don't have the exact ratio to this point, but Jelena with far more wrist shots than slappers in that situation through the early stages here of the season, as it's dropped here for Kopetsky. Circles the net on the kill. Kopetsky plays it behind for Derek McKenzie, and the Devils will work this away. Here's Ryan Clough on the move. Played across, and Jelena into the attack. He's fought off by the Panthers' captain Mitchell. Now Ryder controls here. 15 to go on the Devils' power play. Michael Ryder shoots, and the wrister is fired wide.
Shoot first mentality for the Devils here all game long, first 2 games, and that's something we didn't see a lot of last year. They got too cute, too fine, and at times would lose the puck, but it's shoot at all costs right now.
They're offside here. Penalty time is up. Panthers with the kill. The Devils have the 5-0 advantage in the second. Time now for the Cadillac trivia question. Mike Camilleri, one of the heroes Thursday. He scored 2 goals in his first game as a Devil. Who was the last player to score 2 in his Devils debut prior to Mike Camilleri?
Do you want me to take a stab at it?
You're always welcome to do that.
I mean, I don't want to give it away, but I think I have an idea, and I don't think anybody will really think of this player. Tell me if you want to, or am I going to blow it for some fans that are trying to figure it out?
You have carte blanche. This is game 2. We're here to please. Go ahead.
I'm going to go with Sylvain Turgeon, believe it or not, in his first Devils game. I think he might have potted 2.
Not bad. Jokinen at center ice sees this stripped away by Patrick Elias. And Campbell plays it ahead. Panthers looking to put a dent into this 5-0 advantage, and Barkov is met effectively by Zidlitsky.
And you know what happens, Steve, for a young Florida Panther team, they trying to beat 1-on-3, trying to beat the guys, and you saw that from Barkov. Not using each other, because now you start to press. but you have to use your line mates there. It was almost impossible for Barkov to get through at the blue line.
There's a learning curve here. Barkov is 19, second overall pick in the draft last year. He had just started to emerge as their top-line center when he was injured at the Olympics last year. As we watch Tutu firing, rebound left there by Montoya, and he got that as well to deny Steven Gianta.
Beautiful save by Al Montoya, replacing Roberto Luongo in the nets here in the second period. He's looked real sharp, or this game could easily be 7 or 8-0 now.
Worked across. Here's Goodbranson, who dumps in. 19 Devils shots, still 11 and a half to go in the middle period. And Tutu able to lay this off. Cross-ice pass to Steven Gianta, who skates this in. Work back to John Merrill. Gelinas lost control, but recovers for New Jersey and backhanded in by Tomas Fleischmann. Merrill leaves here for Gelinas and worked ahead to the stick of Jaromir Jagr. Waiting on the far side is Camilleri. Dishes off the boards. Now Jagr the return feed. Jagr in front at the doorstep, and he's denied by Montoya. Work back by Camilleri. Merrill at the point. Execution in these first 5 periods has been remarkable by this group. Some find the back of the net, some don't. The takeaway here, Thornton with a shot and a save made by Corey Schneider, who got it with the glove.
Giveaway there by the Devils, a little sloppy in their own end, but Corey Schneider right there to stop Sean Thornton point blank. And earlier here, about a minute ago, Steven Gianta, or Jordan Tutu goes to the net with the big slap shot. Gianta right there for the rebound. Montoya had to be sharp, gets his right pad on that one. And here the Devils, I think it's Travis Sajak, unable to get that puck past Sean Thornton, turns it over just inside the blue line. But Corey Schneider's there to shut the door.
We all know the Bruins will likely be very good again this year. I thought that's a big omission from their team this year, Pano.
Yeah, I think a lot of that had to do with salary cap. Sean Thornton was such a key part of that Boston Bruins team. If you ask any player in their locker room the importance of him, despite not playing a whole lot at times and playing on the fourth line, but he was an awfully effective player for them.
Kulikov able to hold the zone and send in. Dave Bolin, quick shot, and Corey Schneider with the big stop on the one-timer. Klo gives here to Zidlitsky, and the Devils work it out of harm's way. Henrique, cross-ice pass, picks up Klo. Pass here for Ryder, who shot the puck wide. And again, the scoring chance created on the rush by New Jersey. This is icing against the Panthers with 9:49 to go in the second.
Good scoring opportunities on both ends of the ice. And we take a look at Adam Larsson, not in the lineup for the first 2 games for the Devils here. And I know a lot of people are concerned, why isn't Adam Larsson in the lineup? And these are tough decisions for management, for the coaching staff. And they felt they wanted to see some of the other young guys, and maybe there's a few reasons. You want veteran guys. They've got 3 veteran defensemen in Green, Salvador, and Zidlicki with the 3 young guys. But make no mistake, he is going to get a lot of games, get a lot of ice time. Right now, things going well for the Devils. And I know they made some defensive mistakes in game 1, but it's hard to change a lineup for one game when you win 6-4 in a tough building to play. And he wanted to give this group another shot, but we know injuries happen and a lot of things. And it's frustrating for Adam Larsson, Steve. There's no question about it, and he should be mad. It's not always fair, but I went through the same thing he did as a young player, where I couldn't understand why I was up and down, why I was sitting at times. But I learned along the way. It helped me.
Your first season was 83-84. It was roughly 3 years later that you became an everyday defenseman for the Devils, correct?
Yeah, and I did it in a little different fashion. I broke my leg. I had a real good first 12 games.
Havlat over the line here, goes wide on Willie Mitchell, and Havlat stays with it. Shot from the point once again by Severson, didn't get through, and Barkov will work this ahead to Bergenheim.
I was mentioning, Steve, I broke my leg and came back and was up and down, and it took me a while to become a regular in the lineup, and boy was I frustrated, but I learned you know what, might have been the best thing for me. It's tough to see when you're in it and you're a young guy and you're intense and want to play at the highest level, but fortunately for me, I went on to have a pretty good career, and I believe Adam Larsson will go on and have a pretty good career. He's only 21 years old, let's not forget, and you're going to go through some growing pains along the way. And sometimes you have to sit even when maybe you've played well. It's just the way it is.
Part of Adam's frustration, 26 games in the National Hockey League last year. He was injured in November at a time he was playing quite well. Penalty coming up. It's a high stick, and it's against New Jersey.
A friendly reminder from Sunrise, Florida, that Hockey Night Live will follow us tonight. Follow this game that the Devils are leading 5-0. Stephen Valiquette may change the way you watch the game. He's talking analytics. EJ Radick is there. Our own John McClain is there. Hockey Night Live follows us tonight. All the teams are playing, including the Devils, Islanders, Rangers, and Sabres. They got a lot to get to. We will be with you, though, at the second intermission, a chat with Ryan Clough, and the countdown to Chico Night.
Deb, thank you. Now, John's probably driving home Thursday from Philadelphia, snickering on the ride home, saying, I'm with Steve, Dano, and Deb for one game on this road trip, and oh, did I pick the right one. Well, stick around, Johnny Mac. It's 5 so far here tonight.
Maybe he can explain a little bit of this Devils scoring onslaught. As we know, Johnny Mac was a prolific goal scorer in the National Hockey League.
2-2 for high sticking. Florida power play is played down low. Bukestad had the puck knocked away by Andy Green. Work to the stick of Camilleri, and the Devils nurse this out of the zone off the stick of Bryce Salvador.
Looking forward to the new crew on Hockey Night Live, Steve, and give a little different perspective. I had a lot of fun on the show for the better part of 7 years, but now I'm here with you. You're stuck with me, and we got a new crew.
Their loss is our gain, my friend. Puck deflects here to the stick of Giunta, who works it away. He continues the kill with Dinas Zubris. Devils have been strong in all facets of the game. Really no blemish to speak of. 7.5 to go in the middle period. 45 to go on this Panthers power play. Here's Ekblad. Puts the brakes on and sends it in. Henrique will get this the length of the ice, and the Panthers having difficulty getting started with the man advantage.
Real nice clear by Adam Henrique. That's what I was talking about. You have to get the puck out, especially if it's on your stick. Find the open lanes. Not always easy, but Adam does a perfect job there. And yes, the Panthers seem in a little bit of disarray here.
17 seconds to go.
I think the Florida Panthers are getting too many men on the ice here.
Dashing to the bench was Ekblad, and he did not get there in time. There's Damon Severson enjoying this ride so far. Pete DeBoer called him fantastic opening night. But he's been pretty good tonight. He's been getting shots through. His first 2 National Hockey League points in the game this evening. And a week of his life, I'm sure, he's going to compartmentalize in something that will always be special for him. So serving the too many men is Huberdeau. So this will be 4-on-4 for 17 seconds, and then we'll see a Devils power play go to work once again. Guided across, and here's Kulikov. Out of the box is 2-2. As the stop's made by Schneider, he goes to the bench. Devils get the extra attacker on, and here's Marek Zidlitsky.
2-2 clip young Huberdeau. I know we didn't talk much about that on the high stick there. It was accidental, but Devils do a good job of killing the penalty off.
Zidlitsky gains the zone and goes wide here on Mitchell. Work back to the point. Covering there was Clough, and the Devils now set up. 5-0 New Jersey, seeking to add to it. Clough going for the redirection. Zidlitsky trying to keep this alive, but it's cleared away by Florida off the stick of Severson. Devils power play so far tonight is 2 for 3. Schneider leaves for Marek Zidlitsky. 45 to go in the man. It's near giveaway, and Schneider alertly with the stick. Got it away from the near lurking by Panther. Now Bergenheim tries to control. Puck Taken away now and controlled here by Zajac.
Devils a little bit in disarray in their own end, but give the Panthers credit. Real good forecheck staying on top of the Devils, not letting them break out.
Here's Travis gaining the zone. Yager was the man cutting. This gets to Camilleri instead. Puck winds around. Jelinek can't get there in time to keep it alive, and he's chased back. Final dozen seconds of the man advantage. Eric Jelinek works his way around Olsen. Goodbranson can't get it out of the zone. Kept alive by John Merrill. Out of the box is Huberdeau, and now back to 5-on-5.
Not much doing on the Devils' power play there, Steve. But Florida much better at getting to loose pucks, reacting quickly, causing the Devils a little bit of trouble gaining control.
But what have you been watching here tonight? A little bit of Devils history, and they might add to it. So far, it's 11 goals combined in the first 2 games of the season. That's already tied a team record set back in 1991 and 92, a group that you were part of, Mr. Daneyko.
We did that? I can't really go back that far. Was that the...
Now, what I do tonight is I go back, what were the Daneyko points logged in those 2 games? We'll find that out. For now, we step aside. It's 5-0 New Jersey, looking to start the season 2-0 at Sunrise, Florida. Cadillac trivia question time and answer. Mike Camilleri scored 2 goals in his first game as a Devil Thursday. Who was the last player to score 2 in his Devils debut? We're taking you back to January of '03. Famous for a cup-clinching goal, Mike Rupp. 2 in his first game as a Devil. That wasn't in my top 11 answers.
That wasn't Mike Rupp. So instrumental in the 2003 Stanley Cup Championship, and I do believe if we go back, Sylvain Turgeon did it as well.
Florida power play. It is Ruutu who went off for a trip just prior to break at 15:24, and a Panther power play that's 0 for 3 coming into this chance will look to break the ice.
During this penalty kill, the coaching staff, certainly DeBoer and crew, want to make sure the Devils play the way they want to, the way they've planned it out in camp, and not get away from being solid. Sometimes you can get away from your game when you're up 5-0, but you got to work on things, and this is part of the game the Devils need to work on, even though they're the best in the National Hockey League last year.
It's been different.
But it's been good tonight.
Up 3-0 in Philadelphia, there was the strong response. They sorted out playing with a lead to this point as Bolin has this for the Panthers. Dave Bolin dishes off and gives to Scotty Upshall. Bolin again, centering try. At the doorstep was McKenzie. Couldn't get the stick down, and taken again by Bolin. Player with one of the most famous goals in Blackhawks history as this is played back now and taken by Brian Campbell. Under a minute to go in the man advantage, they score! Off the redirection in front, Derek McKenzie, and the Panthers are on the board.
Real good puck movement by the Florida Panthers here. Just as we talked about, the Devils wanting to continue their strong penalty kill. Pass down low. Brian Campbell to Scotty Upshall, and he finds Derek McKenzie between 3 New Jersey Devils, and he battled to get his stick on the ice along with Andy Green. Very similar to what Ryan Claude did on his goal. Strong on his stick. Panthers get on the board.
McKenzie, like Thornton, spent the last 7 years with one team prior to signing with Florida. 7 years with the Columbus Blue Jackets. A former Thrashers draft pick in 1999. Camilleri plays this back, so Corey Schneider's hopes for his first shutout this season will have to wait at least 3 more days. Nearly given away to Fleischmann, and now Schneider will send it to center.
Devils have to be cognizant here, not getting sloppy, not turning pucks over. And you saw that there. Young Damon Severson trying to get the puck through, but the Panthers are on their toes right now, so they're really starting to get a little life here, a little momentum, and you expected that. But the Devils are going to have to make sure that the Panthers don't get it going and score a couple of goals similar to what the Philadelphia Flyers did in the a short span of time.
Kulikov gets this back for the Panthers. Taken off the boards by Zajac and lifted away to center where Goodbranson belts it down. Gains the zone quickly. He shoots and a glove save by Corey Schneider. The McKenzie goal assisted by Scotty Upshaw and Brian Campbell at 16:31 of the second. Panthers have missed the playoffs in 12 of the last 13 seasons. The only exception, the spring of 2012. Champions of the Southeast Division then, threw the Devils in the opening round. Took them 7 games. Adam Henrique broke their hearts in double overtime.
Bryce Salvador real strong in front on Jonathan Huberdeau on the pass coming toward the net to avert a dangerous opportunity. Bryce has had a good game tonight. He's answered the bell against Sean Thornton when need be, and he's been strong.
Henrique able to work this ahead, but Ekblad keeps it in. He shoots on for the redirection was Barkov. Couldn't get it on goal. Alexander Barkov sees it worked away, and now Huberdeau works it back to the opposite point. Campbell with a big drive, and he fired it wide.
Campbell just whistles that one wide. Corey Schneider stretched out.
Kopetsky over the line is checked by Salvador. Now Bukestad. Florida's taken back some of the play here in the last 5-minute stretch, but the Devils enjoying the 5-1 lead as Ekblad and Campbell go back in their own end. 18-year-old Aaron Ekblad, the #1 overall pick in the National Hockey League draft. Sam Reinhart of Buffalo, #2, also in the NHL at the start of this season. Worked across, and the pass intercepted by Andy Green and taken back by Mitchell, the Panthers captain, under a minute to go in period #2.
Good play by Andy Green, position-wise, and getting his stick on that loose puck and clearing it out. Going back to Aaron Ekblad, Steve. 18 years old, awfully young for a defenseman to step into the National Hockey League. You're going to go through some ups and downs, but if there's a guy ready for it, if you listen to him speak, he's mature beyond his years, and he's very confident in himself. Very similar to Damon Severson as far as his attitude, even though he's still 18 years old.
If there's talk of him going back to juniors after 9 games, I can tell you it's not in South Florida. All the projections are for him to stay right now. Steven Giunta has taken a penalty for the Devils, so again, the PK unit will get a bit more practice, and the Panthers will try to get back in the hockey game here as Kulikov plays this down low. McKenzie is back, and Upshaw with a shot and a riser. It goes high of Corey Schneider's net. Under half a minute to go in the period. Boland works it back to the point. Here's Campbell. Return pass for Boland, but it hop-skipped off his stick, and Boland now back to the point. Here's Kulikov controlling. Boland tries to send one across, intercepted by Henrique, and he'll send this the length of the ice. But out to start the rush quickly was Montoya. 5 seconds to go in period #2. The Devils will go to the second intermission with a 5-1 advantage. 5 different goal scorers for New Jersey tonight. More to come in the second intermission. Back in Florida, second period highlights. Mr. Danico.
Andy Green with the big hip check on Bukestad there. Going to see some nice work by the Devils in the Panthers' end, which they've spent a lot of time at. Damon Severson gets a shot on goal. He's had plenty of them. And then the Devils get back on the board with their 5th of the night. Ryder to Clowe, he outmuscles Kopetsky. And that was it for Roberto Luongo. He takes an exit, and he's not too happy, and rightfully so. He did not have a lot of support from his defensemen. And there's the subtle little plays that young Damon Severson has made through his first 2 games. Nice little backhand pass, so calm and poised. There, a turnover by the Devs. Sean Thornton all alone in on Corey Schneider. He makes a terrific save there. And then finally, the Florida Panthers get themselves on the board on the power play. Scotty Upshaw in front to Derek McKenzie. Stick on the ice. Real nice goal in front on Corey Schneider, and that's where we stand now, Steve. 5-1 Devils after 2.
Michael Ryder, you're seeing his career best in terms of goals scored was back in Dallas in the 2011-2012 season. Now, he had the primary assist on Ryan Close's goal in the second period, a three-point night yesterday. He's here for one reason, to produce points. He was so disappointed last season, Dano, just 2 goals in the final 36. Tom Galiti, who does a great job covering the Devils for the Record, had a wonderful piece today on how Ryder strengthened his core and how he has proper skates for the first time in a while. And that's a nuance of the game that a lot of people don't think would make a big deal, but for him, he says it's made all the difference in the world as the Devils begin period 3 with 1:18 left on the penalty kill.
I read the same story from Tom there, Galiti, and believe me, I had a chuckle there, but skates make all the difference in the world. I know so many of us were so fussy with our skates, trying to get them perfect. If you're not comfortable, it's tough to play well. Bruce Driver used to use my hand-me-downs because he did not like to break in a new pair of skates. He did it for years.
As Tom reported, he had a pair custom made by Bauer in the old form and shape, and it served him very well through the preseason and through the first 2 games here. Here's Boland on the power play for the Panthers. Florida trying to get within 3. Centering try for Campbell, taken away here by Upshaw. Behind the net, McKenzie, the lone goal scorer for the Panthers, getting power play time here in the third. Reaching up, trying to whack at it is Green. Controlled instead by Florida. And Campbell once again manning the point. Gets it back from Kulikov. Dmitry Kulikov at the circle. He shoots, a save by Schneider. The rebound sitting there, but Upshaw couldn't pull the trigger.
Great save by Corey Schneider there on the right pad save.
Firing away from the far side, Kulikov. That caroms out of the zone. Penalty time is up. Steven Gianta out of the box. And we're back to 5-on-5.
And even though the shots are only 19-17 in favor of the Devils, it hasn't been indicative of this game. And Corey Schneider has not been busy all night long or for stretches, but he had to be sharp there.
Yager nurses this behind the net, and Severson gives here to John Merrill. 5-1 New Jersey, 5 different goal scorers. The Panthers are arguing and stating their case for a delay of game call against the Devils.
Looked like one of the Devils might have knocked the puck out of midair and over the boards, and in fact, Mike Camilleri didn't ease off to the penalty box.
So another Panther power play. They're 0 for 4 so far.
Let's take a look at the shave on the penalty kill for the New Jersey Devils. Corey Schneider here off to the side, and he had to be quick. Gets his right arm on that one on a quick wrister from the short side. Here's the penalty here. Accidental, nothing you can really do about it. Camilleri just tries to bat at that puck, and it goes out of play. Delay of game for the Devils, and they're back on the penalty kill. They've been busy.
Gianta starts the kill. Along with Guida Zubris. Salvador and Green, the defensive pairing. Long pass for Huberdeau, just out of his reach, and Panthers are guilty of icing on the power play. Aaron Ekblad, all of 18 years old, is in the National Hockey League for the Florida Panthers. He is part of what they believe will be a core moving forward with a lot of first-round picks. Those in the lineup tonight: Ekblad, Barkov, Huberdeau, Goodbranson, Bjugstad, and Kulikov. Some of them high first-round picks, Dano. Ekblad a 1, Barkov a 2, Huberdeau a 3. Gerard Gallant was saying this morning this is not a surprise development to see him in the NHL, that was the plan all along. And again, unless he nosedives in these first 3 weeks, the Panthers' plan is to have Hirna stay the entire season. He doesn't turn 19 until February.
Yeah, very mature young man, as we mentioned earlier.
Kulikov on the power play, gives here to Jokinen. Jussi Jokinen holds and gives to Brian Campbell. Kulikov with a shot, and he whistles one wide. This will carry him all the way down.
Kulikov can really let it go there on the one-timer, but again, you shoot wide, and it's like a clearing attempt, like an icing.
McKenzie over the line. Met by the stick of Severson. Panthers control, and Boland takes this. Played down low. Bukestad tries to walk in front with it. McKenzie takes his centering try. Trickles towards the point. Kulikov able to get this to Brian Campbell. Played back to the point. That shot by McKenzie wouldn't go through. Redirected by the Devils in front. There's another penalty call coming up.
And that was shall I say, John Merrill with the big hit. And I don't think that was intentional. He meant to take his man, and I don't know who the Florida Panther that is down on the play, but John Merrill just trying to take him hard and take him out of the play, and it seemed he was in a vulnerable position. It looks like it might have been Bukestad. I'm not sure. Kulikov looking there. Let's take a look. No, that is Kulikov who's down low, the defenseman, and certainly a penalty on John Merrill there, but it's not something, he's not viciously going at Kulikov here. He's trying to take the man. Kulikov kind of turned his body, but they have to call those these days to protect the players who are a foot from the board, Steve, and I think John was more concerned about making sure he just took his man out, puts his head down, and goes hard into the board, so the Devils have their work cut out for him. 22 seconds of 5-on-3. This is the first time this year we've seen this for the Devils. We'll see how they play this.
Merrill for boarding. If there's going to be a turning point for the Panthers, they likely feel it's now. Kulikov tries to hold the zone with his skate. He does. Here's Campbell controlling. To Kulikov. Got it back from Jokinen. Jussi Jokinen to Kulikov. Steps up and shoots off a body in front. Campbell will hold the zone. Out of the box is Camilleri. He'll help out now. The penalty kill, 5-on-4. Kulikov, one-timer, and he's stopped by Corey Schneider.
Wow. Schneider looked like he got a left shoulder on that. I'm not sure. Almost looked like it hit the crossbar, but I believe Corey did get a piece of that, Kenji.
Huberdeau tried to play it back to the point. Devils need the change. Henrique, who redirected the puck out, gets off with Camilleri, and continuing now, Zubris and Gianta on the kill.
Well, good job by Adam Henrique and his partners out there to kill that 22 seconds. So important to get this back to a 5-on-4.
Zubris will get to a loose puck. Campbell skating back. Dyna shoots, and he fires it high and wide. 48 to go on the Panther power play. Upshaw darts into the zone. Winds around for Bukestad. Scotty Upshaw, the journeyman winger, crosses up with Bukestad. Now back to the point. Ekblad gives here to Nick Bukestad. Bukestad shoots off a skate in front. Panthers able to control. Ekblad gave up the shot. Gives to Gudbranson. Now returns the favor. Ekblad, wrist shot. Easy save for Corey Schneider. Up in the box is John Merrill, but there are 15 ticks of the clock to go. Work back to Ekblad. Gudbranson. Gets it back. Played down low. Here's Upshaw. Final seconds of the man advantage. Ekblad shoots, and he fired it wide. Merrill's out of the box. Devils successfully kill the 5-on-3 and the ensuing 5-on-4, and we're back to even strength.
Real good job by the Devils penalty killers to keep everything to the outside. Corey Schneider with a couple of sharp saves, as we're going to take a look maybe later on the one that was point blank and he got a shoulder on it. Interesting to see Gudbranson and Aaron Ekblad were on that power play, two youngsters, and the Devils previously on the 5-on-4 had John Merrill and Damon Severson out killing penalties, taking a look at them in a 5-1 hockey game. And they did a pretty nice job out there.
Olsen sends it back in deep for the Panthers. Now Green will look to track this down. Zajac punches it ahead, and here's Camilleri on the move for New Jersey. Dishes it across for Zajac. Puck taken away by the Panthers and punched out to center, where it's played across for John Merrill. Yager goes wide on Dylan Olsen. Played behind the net. Puck jarred loose, and Bolin tries to get it out of the zone. Instead, Merrill softly sends it towards goal and steered aside.
You watch young Dylan Olsen there one-on-one with Yager, and does a nice job, but you can see he was a little tentative going. This guy's been doing a lot of good things offensively for a lot of years. I got to be careful.
Bolin with a chance, saved by Schneider again. They follow up on the backhand try. Able to control as Ekblad tries to throw one in front with Fleischman at the doorstep, but that couldn't connect. Henrique will calmly lift it out of harm's way for New Jersey, and Boland is back. Full change for the Devils with under 13 to go in period 3.
Corey Schneider looking awfully sharp again there, right on the doorstep.
Jokinen carries, puck taken away by Zajac. Plays ahead for Ryder, who steps on, and he drops the claw. Jokinen in transition for the Panthers. Has Huberdeau heading for the net, lost the puck, and the Panthers lose the rush.
And that was a partial 2-on-1 for the Panthers. Devils get caught, and I love the way Damon Severson played that. Stayed in the middle, stayed patient.
You look for concentration with a 5-1 lead, and he's shown it.
He really hasn't. You expected the Panthers to come on a little bit here. Being embarrassed for the first 30 minutes of this game, down 5 goals, and all of a sudden they've picked it up a notch. Certainly they played much better. Corey Schneider's had to be sharp. The Devils getting some work in their end.
Actually taking the lead in the shot board. It's 21-19 in favor of Florida now as they press to try to get back in the game. Boys has this for the Panthers. Steps in and shoots, saved by Schneider. And another penalty is coming up inadvertently. That's Martin Havlat who just sent it over the boards. And the Panther power play goes back to work when we continue, but it's 5-1 New Jersey.
As we take a look at some of the work by Corey Schneider, there off the left shoulder, I believe he makes the save right in the high slot. And again off Dave Boland. Good left pad save. Panthers applying a lot of pressure. Ekblad joins the attack, and Corey just is so sound positionally. Makes that one look easy there, but because he's so square to the shooter, Steve, does a real good job. Panthers have been much better the last 10, 15 minutes of this hockey game. Late in the second, last 10 minutes, 10 minutes through the third period here.
This is the 8th minor penalty the Devils have taken here tonight. The Panther power play tonight is 1 for 7. And some of the penalties have been of the bad luck variety, like the delay of game call against Havlat a moment ago.
2 in a row. Very similar to that, along with Camilleri, but
Boland sends it across the crease, and it caroms back to the far point where Brian Campbell is on it. Derek McKenzie works to the opposite point. Here's Kulikov, who holds and gives back to Brian Campbell. Campbell shoots, redirected in front but wide. Boland is the man on the loose puck. They play it through Campbell, and now back to Kulikov. As they play catch, the Devils stay in the box. Now Kulikov fakes the shot. Fans are yelling and urging to shoot. Campbell gives here. Kulikov is the circle. That's blocked away by Salvador and punched out of the zone by Zubras.
great job by Dinah Zubras and Steven Gianta up front, giving the Panthers no lane to shoot, frustrating the Florida Panther fans. But it was just a great job of positioning, stick positioning.
Camilleri gives it a swipe out of the zone, and 37 to go on the penalty kill for New Jersey.
Getting a lot of work on this penalty kill. Like you mentioned, Steve, a couple of penalties the Devils could not even avoid. I mean, Marty Havlat had to clear that puck. It was in the slot.
Barkov over the line here for the Panthers. Winds around to the stick of Huberdeau and played back. Here's Goodbranson on to join the power play. Nice job to control with Camilleri on him. Zajac with Ekblad pinching in. And the puck muscled out of the zone by John Merrill. Penalty time is up as Havlat's out of the box, and another kill by New Jersey.
Again, Severson and Merrill getting some late penalty kill work and doing a good job. Devils using different combinations up front. Looks like Coach DeBoer going with 3-4 sets at a time because they've been a man advantage against them so often this evening.
Boys will send this into the Devils zone, and Jelena back to give chase. Kopetsky swipes at it. He's hit by Marek Zidlitsky. One of the goal scorers tonight for New Jersey as this pops high and punched out into the scorer's table area, and with that we'll step aside. 8:53 to go in the third. Devils trying to start 2-0.
Well, the game is brought to you by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop at ChooseNissan.com. And the goal is going to be Marty Havlat on the deflection shot by Eric Jelena. Great face-off by Patrick Elias beating Mackenzie clean. And that stands right now, Kanji. It was the second goal of the game as the game winner if everything stays the way it is. But Marty Havlat with his first goal as a Devil. And that's Nissan's goal of the game so far.
Fleischman off the draw, got a shot away, and Schneider making his 23rd save of the evening for New Jersey. The dynamic from a season ago is remarkable. Of course, the Devils did not get their first win until Game 8 1 year ago. They're trying to get 2 in a row out of the box here tonight. This season, 5 periods to score 11 goals. As we watch Ryan Close shot deflect out of play. This season, 5 games, or 5 periods to score 11 goals. A remarkable start for them. Don't forget, John Al Trotwick, Steve Valiquette, E.J. Raddick, and John McClain as they break down Week 1 in the NHL on Hockey Night Live. Tonight after the game on MSG Plus, the boys will be busy. The last time all 30 teams were in action on the same night, April 7th of 2012, the final day of the regular season.
Look forward to the new show. New cast should be a lot of fun. Johnny Mack going to explain to us why the Devils have been so successful early on here, Steve, as far as the offensive output.
Yager plays it across. Here's Zajac with a shot, and Montoya with the save.
Boy, has all Montoya come in and done a terrific job for these Panthers. Has not let in a goal since entering after Roberto Luongo was pulled after the Devils' 5th goal.
Mired into the zone by Severson and controlled here by Montoya. Yager knocked off the puck, loose along the near boards, and the Panthers skated away to the stick of McKenzie, who'll dump in as Florida needs the change. Devils don't start on the road every season. This could be the first time in franchise history, as 2-2 shot is steered away, that they begin a campaign with 2 wins on the road to start the year. Of course, there are many years where they start with only 1 on the road or at home. Salvador back in his own end. Zyglitsky takes a swipe at it. Ruutu will work this ahead, but only so far as it's kept back in by Upshaw.
And with 7 minutes left here, Steve, I'm sure the coaching staff is telling the Devils, let's finish this game off right, guys. Let's not be sloppy. It carries over in the next game. We've played good so far. Do the right things. Make the safe plays.
Drop pass was behind Boys, and Elias takes this the other way, but he's sealed off well by Mitchell. Devils will stay in sunny Florida for a few more days. They'll travel to Tampa tonight. Jokinen throws it towards goal, and Schneider with the stop. We'll get a look at Steven Stamkos and a team that people are predicting big things from. The Tampa Bay Lightning on Tuesday night. Get a look at Big Ben Bishop, Vezina Trophy finalist last year for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Some feel they're a cup contender. I'm not sure they're there yet.
Devils will have their work.
Jokinen walks in and fires it wide.
The Devs will have their work cut out for them against Big Ben Bishop. All 6'7" of them.
Kulikov played across and worked here to the stick of Willie Mitchell. All New Jersey at 5-1, and Klo sends it towards goal, but that's taken away by Mitchell and worked ahead as Thornton puts it on goal. Schneider holds on. That'll allow us to step aside. Hockey Night Live's coming up, the final 5:25 of this one as well.
Here's tonight's Cadillac key performance, and that man is Damon Severson in his 2nd National Hockey League game of his career. Nice little fake pass over to Marek Zyglitsky, right in his wheelhouse, and he blasts that one home. And then Damon Severson scores his first goal on the quick wrist shot. So a real nice second game for Damon Severson, who was praised heavily by his coach to beat DeBoer in the first game. And I'm sure we're going to be hearing more about that in game 2.
Off the draw, good Branson shot is deflected wide of the goal and played by Andy Green. The Devils don't travel to Winnipeg until the 18th of November. Severson is a Brandon, Manitoba native, and if he can stick on this roster through the next month, he'd get the chance to play an NHL game near his hometown. If I'm putting the cart ahead of the horse, so be it. That's a ways away. But this has been a fine showing by him so far, and every indication is a positive one 2 games in. Offensively, it's been all positive for the Devils. These are the numbers I alluded to earlier. This season, 11 goals in 5 periods. Last year, 11 goals in the first 5 games, and that included 3 different ones that went to overtime.
And getting contributions from everyone, including the defenseman you're talking about, the young defenseman, as well as Eric Jelena has a goal and a helper tonight. Damon Severson, who we just talked about. So all things good right now for the New Jersey Devils.
Offside is the call here against New Jersey with 4:46 to go. He was the 60th pick overall in 2012, that final pick of the draft some 3 years ago. Last year showed some offensive flair at Kelowna, as we mentioned, those 46 assists that stood out, but made the coaching staff open eyes with a very strong camp, earning his spot on opening night. And we weren't sure where it was going to go from there, how he'd react to the bright lights. And again, just 2 games in, that's the body of work, but not bad. Corey Schneider's been pretty good too. Glove save on the 28th shot of the night by Florida, and we have some misbehavior as well.
We have a little brouhaha in front of the net. Travis Sajak involved along with young Jonathan Huberdeau. Nick Bukestad's also in there. Bryce Salvador protecting their goaltender, Corey Schneider. And you like to see that. Make sure when they're going hard to the net, protect your goaltender.
Here's the game recap brought to you by Tri Honda Dealers. Severson with his first NHL goal and an assist. Jelena with a 2-point night as well. Points by 11 different New Jersey Devils. Zajac goes to the box. Huberdeau does for the Panthers. 4:27 to go in period 3, and likely the tilt. Deb mentioned as the night began, this is the first of 2 trips that the Devils will make to Sunrise, Florida. The other will be on April 11th, the final night of the regular season, when the team hopes will be a tune-up for the opening round of the playoffs after the 2-year absence. 4-on-4 for the next 2 minutes, barring any more. Visitors to the sin bin, and off the draw. Loose in front of Schneider's cage. Panthers tried to work it back to Campbell, but skated away here by New Jersey. Gianta able to muscle this across, and here's Tuomo Ruutu.
See Eric Jelena jump up into the rush 4-on-4.
And Jelena delivers an open ice hit. Picked up here by Campbell. It's Ekblad who took the brunt of that hit, now dropped here by Boys and punched away into the corner by Gianta. Zajac and Huberdeau, 2 each for roughing, leading to the 4-on-4 as we watch Florida look to inch closer with 3.5 to play. Here's Merrill. Takes a hard hit behind the net. Puck jarred loose and worked across to the stick of Eric Jelena.
John Merrill, real good play in his own end, out battling 2 Panthers, making a good pass.
Ekblad went back at Jelena and got a bit of retaliation.
Frustration setting in for these Florida Panthers. Aaron Ekblad, the youngster, #1 overall pick, off to the sin bin. Devils go on the power play.
Jelena got him on the previous shift, Jenna.
He did. There was the nice little play by Devils D. And there you see Aaron Ekblad. I believe that would be an interference call. I mean, I'd probably let that one go. I guess it's a little bit late, Steve, but this late in the hockey game, referees still calling everything, and the Devils will take it. But you like to see that from the young Ekblad, show a little feistiness. Not happy with the way this game has gone.
A 4-on-3 power play for New Jersey. Zidlitsky works this across. Crosses up. Elias gives here, and Jágr tries to send it in front. Camilleri at the doorstep, but the puck taken here by Zidlitsky instead. Here's Zidlitsky, now firing, saw the lane and shot it wide. Loose puck gobbled up here by Elias. 31 to go in the 4-on-3. Now played here, Jágr at the circle. The return pass from Elias. Jágr put it on goal. Montoya with the stop and cleared away by the Panthers.
And the way Al Montoya has played here coming in, relief for Roberto Luongo would make me think they have to possibly think about starting him the next game because he has looked awfully sharp, Steve.
Al Montoya signed back on the 1st of July out of the University of Michigan, a journeyman. He's been with Phoenix, the Islanders, Winnipeg, 37 career wins in that time for the Chicago native. But going back to that man, among active goaltenders, second most wins in the NHL, Roberto Luongo. Again, the key to this season, Florida making any run at a postseason berth, will be largely on the shoulders of Luongo, who at the age of 35 begins his first full season back with his original team. Walking in and hitting the crossbar was Jon Merrill.
Well, we've talked so much about Damon Severson, Eric Gelinas with a couple of points each tonight, but let's not forget about Jon Merrill. Sky's the limit. He has a point tonight and dunked the crossbar there.
Henrique sets up. Power play is 5-on-4 as it's worked across, and Eric Gelinas controls. Centering try by Clowe, didn't get through. Henrique gives it right back to Ryan Clowe. Now Henrique in front. Quick hands in front, got the shot away, kept alive and back to the point. Now Merrill dishes down low, and it's Clowe once again. A dozen seconds to go on the Devils' power play. Goodbranson got a stick on it, and Kopecky, short-handed, has a 2-on-1. Kopecky with Bergenheim with him, and reaching out for the denial there as he tried to play it across the crease was Cory Schneider.
Kopecky with the beautiful move to go wide on the 2-on-1. Elects to hang on to this puck, and Cory Schneider had to do everything. Stretch out completely and grab that with his left glove there. Kopecky probably thought, I'm going to get this around Cory Schneider. I'm in home free, but give Schneider credit. Terrific play to get that left glove stretched out as far as possible and shut the door.
26 save performance thus far by Cory Schneider, who's poised for a 2-0 start. Off the draw, this is taken by Jordan Tutu, who punches into the Florida end. Jokinen will skate this away. That's Severson. One-hands it, now taken here by Green. He'll punch it out of the zone. A minute to play in Sunrise. Devils will start the season 2-0 on their way to Tampa. Road trip that continues and concludes Thursday night against Alex Ovechkin and the Washington Capitals, where Barry Trotz is the head man in charge there. But fueled by the confidence of not only the back-to-back wins, but 11 goals of support for that man. And it wasn't there for him at this time last year, and it very often was a frustrating thing to see Schneider play very well and not have something in the win column to show for it.
It had to be, but he handled it extremely well last year, despite not getting a lot of run support, as we say. But he has had that in the first 2 games of the season here. Like you mentioned, Steve, 11 goals. And tonight the Devils were much more sound defensively, even when the Panthers really came on the second half of this game. Cory Schneider made some big saves, but the Devils did not give them second and third opportunities too often.
Puck loose in front, and Schneider with the stop there on Fleischmann. That's one of his more challenging saves of the night, as this is dumped away with some 12 seconds remaining in the contest. Devils will improve to 2-0. Florida Panthers will drop to 0-1-1. Fleischmann with a final shot. Schneider's last save. The Devils are 2-0. They come to Florida and defeat the Panthers 5-1.
Well, if you
First NHL goal, second win that Damon Severson's been part of. We're back in Sunrise in a moment.